Alright, I'm live. Hello everyone, I'm g0goTBC, aka your favorite organizer that is not Slowa. This is gonna be Grunty's revenge, so without further waiting, I'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. So Grunty's Revenge is the third game released for the Banjo-Kazooie franchise on the GBA. And here it's a little different than the traditional Banjo-Kazooie that you expect in the fact that it's isometric. It has an isometric camera, and besides that, there really isn't a whole lot of difference. Alright, I'll do that. I'll do that when opening the first level. There's a sort of big break. But yeah. The story of this game happens between Banjo-Tooie and Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, and the fact that Grunty is still trapped. And so the story is that Mongo somehow manages to take Grunty's soul and put it into a robot, and so this is how we can get Grunty. That's how Grunty can do her things into this game. And while she can do things, she kidnaps Kazooie and go in the past to kill her. Yep, classic Banjo-Kazooie dialogue. I think they're even better in this game, just for the fact that they sound more silly than they are in the other games. Especially for this mole right here that teaches us moves. It's actually oh yeah, I should finish explaining the story. Since Grunty is going in the past, Mumbo also puts us in the past so that we can rescue Kazooie before she actually gets killed, so that we save her. And so that's why we're playing as Banjo only for the first third of the game. So here's a minigame. That one is probably the hardest one in the game, right off the bat, at least to win. Because you really need to get all the eggs, and if you miss one, it's basically GG. When you're speedrunning, it's not too hard. But yeah, this game is an underrated gem, as for what most games for the GBA are. I guess people didn't get to play a lot of games on the GBA, but there's been a lot of good games released there. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, the mole that actually teaches us the move isn't actually Bottles as in the first game. It's actually one of Bottles' uncles called Buzz-Eye. And he just has a really irritating voice, and that's all. And that's why we love him. So now that we have Roll, we can speed up the movement quite a bit. Like, contrary to what, if you're familiar with the other Banjo-Kazooie game, you would be familiar with a technique that is called roll jumping, where basically you roll and then you jump to avoid getting a slowdown animation. Well, it's similar in this game, except it works a little bit differently since you keep all your rolling speed until you land. And right there, I'm gonna take a bunch of damage on purpose since I'm gonna be doing the only death warp in the game coming soon. I mean, it's sort of as isometric since, like, vertical platforms are you don't only see the top of them. But yeah, with roll jumping, it's gonna be the main movement that we're gonna have for like the next 10 minutes or so. And here comes another minigame. It's probably the point in the run where most people reset if they get bad RNG, because the best you can have is a 33 for a 34 for this minigame, except you'll never get that pretty much. The game will just troll you like that if it wants to. Can I get all of that? Oh man. Gonna be bad. Alright, no big deal. I have no chance of losing the minigame. You have to be pretty bad to fail the minigame, but it's possible. It has happened once to a runner. But that's just because he got really bad luck on top of the fact that he kept missing the sheets over and over. So here we're collecting chickens. It will serve us for a jiggy since there's a hen that lost all of her child, and so we need to get the chicks and get them back to her. Alright, and that was the only death warp in the game. And while we're doing that, we may as well collect a note while we're dying. So Mumbo in this game is a lot like the first Banjo-Kazooie game, except for the fact that every boss fight that you do gets you a token, and one token gets you one more transformation. And contrary to any of the other games, you actually get to play as all the transformations. I mean, you don't necessarily need to, but you could use all the transformations in all the levels where there's a skull, because of the menu that we just saw, which makes things really interesting for not being limited to one transformation per level. So I should talk about the definition of 100% category. It's basically completing the total screen, which means all notes, all jiggies, all moves, all Jinjos. And I think I'm missing some. I guess beating the game, but I guess that's a given. But yeah, we're getting there. Also, you may see me doing, when there's a cutscene, you may see me do some weird things like take it a little slower to like press a switch or something in order to get in a different spot, and that actually does matter in this game, since maybe not in this case with the Jinjo cutscene, which by the way appears in a in a near Jinjo's statue that you just saw that is near the level, the beginning of the level, but every time there's a cutscene where the camera needs to scroll like to a destination and scroll back, it actually does save time on scroll. And here for this Jiggy, it's actually very important that for the Jinjo Jiggies I'm grabbing them in the air, because for some reason it skips a 15-second cutscene where the Oracle just talks to you all about like the level and Jinjos in general, and we really don't want to see that since we want to go fast. So you see me like leave notes behind, that's gonna be because later in the game I'm gonna be coming there with Town Trot, so it's gonna be a lot faster to get the notes that I don't need currently. Here we get a little damage boost to go through that fire. Alright, I tried to cross the gap there, it's actually possible to do that. But it's just a frame perfect jump. I need that. Actually, I didn't need that, but that's fine. It probably was still faster anyway. Oh yeah, makes sense. I will say though that for the swimming section in this game, it's actually really hard to know like where you are when you're not touching the ground, because sometimes you're that high that you don't even see your own shadow. But when you know where you are and you've done it a couple of times, it's really easy. That's basically like the only like free form of 3D movement, if I could say that, where you're not jumping. Alright. I didn't want to get hit there, but because I wanted full health for an upcoming fight, but we're gonna go with that. So yeah, Briggle Beach is... You may guess that it's where Kazooie is. Can you already feel that we're getting Town Trot pretty soon? So for the Grunty fight, she like tries to charge at you, and the best way to do that is just to make her go into a wall so that we can cut it short. Alright. I was afraid of dying there, so I took it a little safe. Alright, I'm gonna take that. Just as a safety precaution. And you may have seen that the pack whack move that I just used just has like a really broken duration. It's actually faster the earlier that I whack Grunty, the faster it will go, because the cutscene does not start until I'm done with the pack whack animation. Alright, now that we've got Kazooie, we've got the backflip, which is pretty useful in this area in particular to get a bunch of notes. and a G key. Then, as soon as we're done with this section, we're gonna learn not Talent Rod, but it's gonna be the egg firing mode, which is essentially blue eggs. I've tried it before just for the sake of testing it, and it's actually possible to get all the other type of eggs by skipping these blue eggs, and it's still gonna work. But yeah, just before continuing, we're gonna do another quick intermission as the rat, just to do this section right here. These enemies are all cycle based in this section, so if I don't mess up, I know exactly which cycle that I'm gonna get for each enemy and react accordingly if I do a mistake. Like, what's really convenient if you do it really fast, it's really easy to get past that last guy there. Because otherwise he's like directly in the tunnel, and it's a really tight gap to get between the wall and the Gruntling. So hurry for good cycle. Alright, now that we're done with the rat, I just spawned the Jiggy, and then I'm gonna collect it as Banjo since it's on the way to the next location that I want to go. Also, yes, jumping up ladder saves some time. Alright, here's the moment that everyone was expecting. It's time to learn Talent Rod. Since we don't have like any C buttons in this game compared to like the N64 games, what they chose to do is to do like the Xbox release of the Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. For those who know it, you have to press L and R to enter Talent Rod. Except in this game, you don't need to actually press L which is like the crouch button to stay in Talent Rod. You can just press L and R and then you're good to go. You can release both buttons, and to exit Talent Rod you can just do like a flutter or crouch again. Alright, here's a fun mini game. Like, it's one of the jiggies that we skip in any percent, even though it's on our way, simply because it's just a long jiggy, and the goal of this is just to be the one that keeps the chest for the longest time. And also, I don't like being pinballed around like that. I don't want this to be a close call. Alright, come on, give me the chest. Give me the chest! It's so hard to lose that mini game. It's so unlikely, but I feel like I will lose it. Like... Alright, please. Oh man, I won in the last second. Whew! Like... Losing that minigame is really not something that you wanna see, because that minigame is so easy, but right there I just got unlucky because I was just pinballed around with everything. It's like the second easiest minigame in this game, so you don't want to lose that because you lose a minute. Also, here's an easy boss fight, and as you probably guessed already, the skull head always spawn in the same place every single time. I swear it wasn't planned. Alright. Barely got that note without getting hit there. So yeah. From this point I would say that most enemies do 2 damage to you. And you have 4 health in this game instead of 5, so it's basically a 2-shot. So, since that mine was in the way there, I had to take a hit to be able to get that note. But if I would have gotten hit by the gruntling there, that deals 2 damage, it would have been really bad. Sniper mode. Oh. And yes, we do get a cutscene for getting all the notes. So now we're gonna get a few jiggies in Spiral Mountain simply because... Oh boy. I gambled there pretty hard and that paid off. I could have, if that guy hit me, I would have got thrown in the water and that would have been 20-second loss, but it was fine. But yeah, we're getting a few jiggies there so that we can open 2 levels at once. And since we're here, we can get the notes that we left earlier. So, this level is... The level that I'm opening now requires 14 jiggies and the other one requires 24, so it's basically a perfect jiggy count. Just to have the 2 levels opened at the same time. See, it's exactly the same. They should hire me when they decide to make this another Banjo game. If they ever do one. Hit me up, Rare, I'll be there for that. But yeah, when I said that this was the 3rd game in the franchise, people often overlook that the 2 GBA games when they think of like, oh, they should have made Banjo 3 because they think that Nuts and Bolts should have been was Banjo 3, but that's actually not the case. Nuts and Bolts is actually the 5th game. Because there's Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie that everyone knows, then there's this game, which is a really underrated gem. Then there's Banjo Palette, which is essentially a racing game, and it's a pure meme, don't ever play that game. And then there's Nuts and Bolts, which is surprisingly a good game, it just doesn't fit in the franchise. So here, we're supposed to like move some platforms, but yeah, doing a rat-a-tat also works. Fun. They do not, but I can say that in Nuts and Bolts, they do have different voice acting, which is something that probably nobody knows because it's like for what they did in the other games. Like in the intro cutscene of Nuts and Bolts, there's like that man that just explained what happened to Banjo and Kazooie. It's available in a lot of languages. Believe it or not, it's actually available in Japanese. Like, I follow the, the Nuts and Bolts community a lot, even though I don't run the game, simply because I don't really want to. But yeah, until a few months ago, people thought that English, that all the languages were about the same speed, and then it turns out that Chinese is actually the fastest language in Nuts and Bolts. Even though Chinese does not have a different voice acting, it's still the fastest for how few characters it has. Right, I want that, alright. Man, I really do want to split right now, but I have like no timer set up because I don't want to get tilted from seeing red splits. But if I had to guess, I would say that this is a good run so far. Like, so far there hasn't been any mistake, any huge mistake, so I'm probably like 10 seconds off my PB or something. Only from the sheep minigame RNG at the beginning. Also, you may think that these guys like are not intended to like not see you. That's the fact that I was like on the bottom 2 pixels of the patch there, and if you're on the bottom 2 pixels, like the left enemy will not see you, and for the other one it's really lenient. Oops. Oh, alright. Got the G finally. Alright, 1 health. So even though there's a mini game that I could do right now by stepping on the wooden planks that you saw, it's actually faster to leave the mini game for later, simply because it puts you at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of the planks. When you're after you're doing the minigame. It's basically a fishing minigame, just like the fishing minigames that we did earlier. And also I'm aware that there's a Jinjo there. I'm leaving that for later too. It saves around 10 frames to do it later. And we're all about the optimizations there. Also, we have this minigame where we have to feed the dolphin, but it's the same pattern every time. But it's really easy to remember, and also we're keeping that Jiggy for later too, simply because it will be in the way. Since you could see that there was a level that was closed there, it's gonna be there when I'll come back to get in there. So here we're learning gold feathers, and it's a weird thing that they change in this game. You actually need to jump to go on these red pads with gold feathers to actually use them in this game. You cannot like use a button combination to use them anywhere you want. This makes so that it will only be used once, and it's for their intended use. And it's for that, like, in order to break these boxes, there are 2 ways to do it. The first one is by using gold feathers, which we already have, which is really convenient. And the other one is to use a leather move, which is fire eggs, to blow them up, but we don't get that until like another level or so it's not worth. So we're getting some notes. Alright. These bees do 2 damage, and their hitbox is really like huge compared to what they look like, so I'm really happy that I managed to not die there. Now there's a chance that I may die there too, but since in this game you respawn in the last loading zone that you went through, it would put me like as soon as I enter that house, which is like basically no time loss. So here we're killing the birds, which like unlocks the ice cream truck, but we're not getting it until later because I was already past the ice cream truck and it's gonna be a lot easier. It's gonna be a bit faster to do it later. There's a lot of we'll do that later in this run because of the backtracking. Because this level, basically it's all the levels. All the jiggies, you pretty much need to do them one by one because there's literally no synergy. First you need notes to learn I6, which I just learned, and then you need to do this boss fight, which is, by the way, extremely hard when you're not used to it. Alright, I did not mean to hit the hand twice there, because I usually want to get rid of the hat early on because it has the worst hitbox in the game. But yeah, it went good. I definitely make it look easier than it is in reality. Alright, we're getting ice cream now because it's on the way. And now that we have a Mumbo token, we can now get a new transformation in this world, which is the octopus. So the octopus, obviously, it moves a lot faster in water than Banjo, and it's also immune to like the polluted water, which damages Banjo and insta-kills any other transformation because they're not supposed to be swimming. So here we're gonna talk to this NPC right there. If you guys want to insert the poop emote, you can. We're gonna give it the ice cream, and we're gonna do a bunch of stuff that only the octopus can do. So here, for the first section, it's actually faster to hug the bottom wall as opposed to just going straight right for some reason. And also this is cycle based, so I pretty much know where to go if there's an enemy in the way. And now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna get on this roof and I'm gonna get teleported back onto Mumbo Skull. And basically what I just did there is that transformations are restricted to only go to certain areas, so when you go to like an area that the game doesn't want you to go there, instead of like putting an invisible wall there, it just warps you back to Mumbo Skull, which is really convenient since it cuts down some time crawling to the skull again. So now that we're the rat, we can do a few things that the rat only can do. Now this is the same castle. It's essentially a maze, but you only need to learn the route to get all the notes and all the levers, and you'll be good to go. Alright, should have 92 notes, which is good. Notes on sand are really not that easy to see, but the shadow makes it easier. So here, we're gonna do some diagonal jump by going onto the platform there. Of course, if I fall down, I pretty much need to redo the whole thing. But luckily I didn't fall, so it went pretty smooth overall. And you see that manhole that we just break as Banjo. I saved the Jinjo for the rat so that we can do the same trick with Bosco. Sorry there. Sorry, having a little voice crack there. But yeah, if you didn't get warped back as the rat, you would just get stuck there. So here's probably the most difficult trick in a run. I'll probably make it look easy. Alright, there it was. You probably did not catch all of what was going on, but I basically did a backflip and shot an enemy that was off screen with an egg. So basically, there are like two kinds of attacks in this game. There's like any kind of attacks that you hit directly, like a melee attack, like a rat-a-tat-rat or a roll or something like that, and those do knockbacks. And then if you're shooting an egg, it does not do knockback, except the way that the game checks if you should get a knockback or not is if you are in the egg firing mode. It does not check whether it was an egg that hit the enemy. So I was able to do a backflip and shoot an enemy to get just barely enough height to get on top of that gazebo. So you could argue that it's a glitch, but I would say that it's more like a knockback abuse than anything else, similar to how you'd use a damage boost. And it may not have looked like really hard, but it's actually... I'm actually the only one going for it in runs because it's 5 inputs in 3 frames. Because you just barely get enough heights and you need like perfect timing to make it Also, I'm leaving the Jiggy for later because it's faster. So we can cheese a little bit of that spring pad section by doing a few of these jumps to cross some gaps. Then we'll be out of this level. So now, in this section over here, you're supposed to use the gold feathers. Like, you could see the gold feather pad for like a second there. Except we're not using that because it just takes you out of Talon Trot. It's basically walking speed if you're using Talon Trot, and it saves like 6 seconds to do that. To skip the gold feathers. And now that we're here again, we can collect this Jinjo since now it's at a more convenient spot. We were too high there when we came here the first time. Alright, time to open the last level in the game. Don't worry though, we're about like... If I had to guess, we're about 45 minutes in right now. I don't really have a timer, but you guys can judge if my estimate was good or not. Actually, closer to 40 minutes. That sounds more likely. So, phrasing for this, if you haven't choked your run yet, this is generally where people lose their runs, because this level is essentially a pure platformer. Like, there isn't any like fancy side quests to do. Oh, so I was not too bad. Thank you for that, Flash. So yeah, all these jumps I'm making look really scary, because I do want to keep my full health to make a section go by a lot quicker. Because there will be a section coming up soon where I'm gonna be losing health over time. So I want to get as much health as possible so that I don't have to get extra honeycombs on the way. So yeah, it's all a good... This level is all platforming, because this is what Banjo-Kazooie is about, all platforming. Except for Banjo Palette and that's it. But that's not really interesting here in this context. Oh. It's possible to make that. Right. If I did not stop there, I would have fell in the lava and died. I need that note. No. Alright. Take two. Alright. Alright, I'm too far to the left. Should be good. Yep, later in this marathon, I'm gonna be doing Fire Boy and Water Girl. Either 1 or 2. And if you want to put your money towards that bid war, I can give a little more information about the two. While the first one is a lot more known to the public, it's a lot more platforming, and it generally feels faster overall. While the second game in the franchise actually is more about puzzle orientated, so there's a lot of really cool skips and route abuse that we can do to shorten the speed run. So if you guys want to donate towards that bid, that way, or you have about like 2 or 3 runs left to do so. So now that we're here, we're done, alright? Yep, there we go. We're still not done. Because even though we're like out of the lava and stuff, there's this tornado that does 2 damage per hit, so this would have killed me. And then there's, after this very interesting minigame that is totally not an auto-scroller, there's gonna be a section where I'm gonna have to do jumps while managing ice physics, which could make me lose some health. I mean, at this point I have 2 HP, so it's not too bad, because if I have to fall, I'm only gonna fall once, and it's gonna be the end of the world. Right? Here the goal is just to get the most snowflakes than your opponent, and this one is actually a lot easier than the chess minigame, even though you can get pinned all around. Nobody should ever lose to this minigame. Shoutouts to Caleb, Celtics fan, for failing that minigame twice so far. He's a runner that has, I believe, the 5th place, no, 4th place in this category. Right. You could see that I was losing a lot of speed there. That's all because of ice physics. It's weird like that. So here we're not gonna choose the tank first, which is like what my cursor was on by default. We're instead gonna do the octopus first, simply because using a different transformation order saves about half a second. We are gonna see the tank, don't worry. It's coming up soon. Easy section right there. That was the octopus section. Alright, now this is gonna be the most hype part of the run. It's time for the next transformation. It's the candle. Are you guys ready for the candle? Because I'm really hyped for it. Alright, candle time. This is gonna be the best thing. Just watch and see. Alright, that was the candle section. It wasn't that bad after all. Alright, time to do the tank now. By the way, yes, only the candle can break the things that are blocking the Jinjo. That's literally the only reason why you need the candle. But yeah, the tank, what it does in this game is that it breaks doors, and we do these kinds of puzzle with it because it's the only transformation that cannot jump, because of course it's a tank. And have you seen a tank that can jump before? I haven't. Don't worry, there will be more candle action later in the run. It's gonna be a lot longer too than the one I just... Alright, time for another fishing minigame. When playing casually, people think it's random whether you get a crab or not, but actually, the crab, That's not what I wanted to grab there, but oh well. The crab move in a continuous motion while the fish that I want do a stop and go motion. Like that was a crab that the thing that's moving to the right in the bottom row. Am I really gonna fail this? Oh man. It's been so long since I failed that minigame. Like it's by far the hardest like fishing minigame, but it's usually not something that you fail. You may be close to failing, but it's not too bad if you fail it, because it's like about 40 seconds lost. Alright, that's good RNG right there. Could I have got that in the first place? But yeah, the fish I believe are the only minigames that are not static in the patterns that you get. Alright, time for a hard jump. And we can just barely cross that gap to get the Jinjo. And instead like open platforms, which takes time. I don't know what my health is at now, so I'm gonna try to play safe. Like, I believe that I'm gonna be able to get a honeycomb as soon as I exit Grunty Industry, so I'm gonna check that. Ah, barely missed the jump there. A second. Oh yeah, I just got the honeycomb. So I'm at least at 2. So now we're done with this level. We can just exit and actually clean up Bad Magic Bayou, which is the name of this level. Because I didn't do everything that level. Because the tank is actually required to 100% this level. So it's basically the same fishing minigame as we just saw, but this time we can actually see where all the fish are. I probably should not have gave up on that. Also, you could see me like get more than one fish at once. That's possible to do it if you're good. They're kinda hard to do. Alright, now we get to do the Kindle, which would be the first thing the first time that you do. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do I'm probably gonna say like time. I can say that time is gonna be on final hit on Grunty, but that wouldn't tell you that much right now. Oh, it's actually possible to land there without taking hits. I was just a little bit too far up there. Alright. I think that damage boost that's a safe time. Because it just cancelled the whole animation of the roll. Because for some reason you cannot jump out of your rolls as the candle. And this time it was a puzzle that is always the same, so I can just learn the solution and do it every time. Come on. Alright, and now here comes the tank, which is why we do this level in 2 trips, because first of all we need notes for the later levels, and then we need to come back for the tank puzzle, because these doors like this one can only be opened by the tank. Like battery eggs, nope. Candle, nope. Nothing works except the tank. That's gonna be it for the transformations in the game. And was our last transformation, and we're pretty much going to wrap up at this point. Since we should be like at close like 55 jiggies at this point. Actually a little more than that. 55 jiggies out of 60. There's 5 levels plus Spiral Mountain. Oh man. But yeah, in this place you can use a damage boost to cross that gap with less difficulty. The jump is actually possible to do without the damage boost, but it's just harder. Alright. I'm gonna get some quick health while I'm here for marathon safety. Then we're basically wrapping up until go in the boss fight. So we're missing 1 Jiggy right now, and it's the Spiral Mountain Jinjos that I'm gonna get after. Alright. Again, jumping to skip the Jinjo cutscene. And now here comes the boss fight. It's an interesting part because, oh man, how am I gonna defeat 3 phases like without dying? Oh, it's gonna be so hard. Let's skip some of them. And here we have the infamous Grunty's Revenge quiz. Like, of all the quizzes in the Banjo franchise, Grunty's Revenge is by far the worst one, because all the questions that I can have, they all have a chance to be a mini game instead, like the one I just got now, and it loses between 20 seconds and a minute and 10 seconds. Luckily I'll get my revenge on this. Right. Aha, you're getting bumped around now. Who's laughing now? Maybe they're laughing. Or not? Hey. I mean, if it was not for like the egg boost strat, it would not be possible to skip all these phases. Alright, a second mini game. Hopefully that we get a better one. Yeah, that one is short. Ah, I wanted to try to like get a double there, but as I said before, they're kinda hard to get. That should have been third. I guess I didn't charge far enough. And I can finish with a triple, even though it has no purpose. Alright, 2 minigames. I had to think for that one for a second. So yeah, we got about 2 or 3 minutes left to the run now. If I had to guess, like I don't even have a timer going right now. If I had to guess, I would say that I'm on a 103 pace. So for these phases where Grunty is bouncing around, we actually want her to be in the middle at the end, so that the ghost takes less time to come back to her. It saves some time, and it saves even more time for the second phase because Grunty doesn't move for the next 2 phases. So right now it's just a matter of dying at this point. Is this world record? Absolutely not. The world record gets 0 minigame and it has like amazing execution. Here's the phase that I hate the most. Like, you're forced to move because you've got the spell chasing you around, and you have to dodge Grunty at the same time. Sometimes you can just get unlucky and Grunty will make things a lot harder than what it needs to be. Alright, time is coming up soon, by the way. And time. Normally, after that, we'd watch the credits just to check the in-game time, because it only shows the in-game time after you watch the credits, but I guess just watching the regular run should be enough for now, so thank you guys for watching. If you want to run this game, you can join the Banjo-Kazooie series Discord, which has a Grunty's Revenge dedicated channel, so that way everyone can share their strats and help you if you want to learn it. If you want to see more Grunty's Revenge action, you can follow me, since that's the game that I'm currently like grinding a lot. And I think that's gonna be it for me. Not today, but because I've got another run, but that's gonna be it for my run, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you when I'll be playing Fireboy and Water Girl in about 2 or 3 hours.